I dream this. I envision sitting in a big auditorium and educators are being put at the podium and they have to tell what they believe a teacher is.
So you're saying the experience in the classroom with Jack, in fact, did have a carryover value that have affected your entire life?
Yes, and I believe that it could have the effect on many others.
Well, I think it has. At
Yeah.
least from my experience in the classroom, I've seen a lot of changes take place with
yeah.
students who were coming in late, students who were sitting in the back of the classroom. I mean, you speak to anyone who has spent time in the classroom under Jack, and they most definitely would attest to the fact that they have had positive change.
Yeah.
One of the main focus being bringing the disaffected student to the forefront so that they could be engaged.
Right.
So, I mean, all in all, I see the value, I see the practicality, and I see the need for a program like this. And I mean, for the duration of time that I've been involved, having the opportunity to meet everyone who's at the table and having the opportunity to listen to the views that you all share, you know, I'm able to see, even though I myself am able to appreciate my own views on it, I'm able to see that it doesn't matter, to me it seems like, it doesn't matter, you know, what angle you come from, but you will all able to see within the framework of this a solution.
I picked up this off my email yesterday, and it's pretty much to the point of what we're here to discuss, and I think it supports all of what we know, but now it's in print form where it pretty much underscores how important it is that we do something and do something quickly, because this is the SHOT 50 State Report on Public Education in Black Males, dated 2010. And it speaks to basically the graduation rates of African Americans, particularly African American males, and how far behind we are as African American males in the educational system, particularly as it applies to graduation rates. And it's 49 of the 50 states in actuality that have not shown much improvement at all. And when you think about it, there should be no reason in 2010 that we have this kind of a problem. We have a black president. We have a black governor here in New York. And still we have major problems with black males and black students in general. When it comes to education. So even with them, our governor and our president, we can't say that the playing field is level. It is anything but level. And this report, an unbiased report, it's filled with statistics, which bears out their findings, indicates that there's much work still to be done.
And that's why I'm here today from a behind the camera perspective. I've videotaped over 50 hours of classroom experiences, different sessions, and to the minute, it's always been a very positive experience from the faculty, from the students, being interviewed about the methods that Jack uses. I haven't heard one negative comment. There's always some apprehension when you walk into Jack's class, and maybe both of you can address that and the transformation that took place once you got into Jack's work. But I am an enthusiastic backer of the methodology that's used in the transformation of the students in Jack's class.
Right. Yeah, well, speaking about the methodology, when I enrolled in Kingsborough in 2007, fall 2007, it was right before the campaign for the Obama election, and that slogan that everyone was saying, yes we can, yes we can, I don't know how serious that they knew that that yes we can was or is. And in his class, and that method that he used, where there's a three-pronged approach that's used in the classroom where where the focus is on race, behavior, skill, and technique. And when I'm saying race, and people might say race, it's just the materials that were used that gave us a historical perspective on things that have taken place in this society that have caused some to be behind. And those that are behind, and when we look at this report, it's the black student. And in 2010, that's a travesty to have any student left behind or still behind. We should all be on a level playing field. And right off the bat, I was amazed at the technique that he used in engaging the students in the material, and some of us not knowing about the history of this country, or knowing and not really understanding. We did read pieces from Kenneth Clark, Lisa Delpit, and these issues we're talking about that we were able to talk about in the classroom from an English standpoint, where we were learning how to read through breaking down sentences through grammar, and word usage and all the things that fall in what's taught in English. But while we were gaining the skill and technique, we were learning at the same time. So some of those myths that we had about people in this society, we found out actually were myths.
Okay, well, I want to pick up from what Beverly is saying. From my own experience in the classroom with the particular approach used by the professor, of course, Beverly mentioned race, behavior, and skills. But I want to talk a little bit about the behavior and the discipline aspect of it.
Oh, yeah.
Initially coming into the professor's classroom, I really didn't know what to expect. All right. You think you're entering college. At my age, you're going to meet with a bunch of crazy, unruly students, and you're going to have to deal with all of that sort of thing. I mean, I've had a couple of other lectures, where issues of discipline have sort of been overlooked by the professors. But in this particular classroom, what I've discovered is that this professor, he actually challenges that sort of behavior. He lets the class know from up in front that, there are certain behaviors that he would not accept. Coming to class late, chewing in class, having all the separate conversations and all of this. A lot of the students, I think, were probably stunned, because generally, they go into most of these other classrooms and they're allowed to do all these things without, the professors probably letting them know that it's not acceptable. I think beside the whole thing about challenging the students, I think the professor did in fact have a way of actually encouraging. He also had a way of engaging, because I think one of the main problems in the classroom, speaking from the perspective of a black male, is that a lot of times you go into the classrooms and for some reason you get the distinct impression that the professors do not expect much from you as far as your performance. The communication is normally an exchange between the class, the students, and the professors. And a lot of times as a student, you tend to sort of close yourself or narrow yourself if you get some sort of feedback from your professor that indicates that he don't think you could make it, or he don't think you're going to be successful. But with my experience in the classroom with Jack's approach, is he expects his students to all perform well.
That's right.
He shows that he is interested
That's right.
in the students' development with their skills and their technique in English proficiency. He also shows that he's interested in their overall development.
Right.
So, as far as all the categories, you know, the race, the discipline, and the skill, I think Beverly mentioned it earlier. Now, some of the topics chosen were designed to engage the students who otherwise would probably be not interested in what goes on in the classroom. As a black student, you know, I've been to many classes and lectures, and because of the textbooks, because of the subjects discussed in the class or that is taught in the class, it is very difficult for me to identify with stuff that seems to be totally unrelated.
Right.
One, unrelated to me as a black person, and two, unrelated to me in terms of it hasn't like practical application and values. But in